Good day everybody, Sebastian comes back with you with another Watcher of Runs presentation. For this video, I will be covering the hero Volka, which is the legendary Nightmare console hero that we get after completing the storyline. In this video, I have fully promoted her, brought out to the max level, and she unfortunately does not have any skills yet. I just wanted to test her as is for the few things that I wanted to get done, just to see what she can do, especially when it comes to her passive and her ultimate. Going over her skills here, first, she does have a talent. After each basic attack, there's a 30% chance that she will get a stack of Scarlet Ferment. Each stack lasts for 20 seconds and increases her attack and defense by 6%, and she can actually stack this by 5 times. Her ultimate, I think, is one of the unique skills that she has for this game, because she can apply vulnerability to both piercing and magic damage to the highest max HP enemy that is in the platform, and it lasts for 10 seconds. This actually gives you an opportunity to team her up with piercer and magic damage dealers to take advantage of this vulnerability to increase your damage output. If these enemies dies while the mark is active, Volka immediately recovers 30% HP and gains 2 more stack of the Scarlet Ferment. Her basic attack is this attacks up to 3 enemies and it deals 100% damage to them. Her auto skill is when the hero gets 7 stacks of the Scarlet Ferment, she will exhaust 2 and deal 260% AoE damage to up to 10 enemies, inflicting damage reduction, and that lasts for 3 seconds. And of course, her passive, which makes her even better for certain situations, especially where you want to sustain. Each basic attack of this hero will grant her HP by 4% and will give an ally 1% of their HP when they're using their basic attacks. So this is actually something that it gives your whole team kind of like a lifesteal set when you need it, and it comes in handy in certain situations, especially in guild bust. So when it comes to her awakenings, it'll be a while before we fully awaken her. We can summon her, but if you get up to the 5th awakening, she'll start dealing additional damage that are inflicted with debuffs. Her 3rd one enhances the blood source skill, and the 1st one, which I think is probably the most attainable one, because we all will clear wave 105, 106 of Tide at some point, and we'll get a soul stone where we can then reduce the revival time of all of our heroes by 25% if they do happen to die during battle. If you are going to look to gear Volka, I tried to do a little bit of both in terms of giving her a little bit of damage stats, but also give her some survivability. I took advantage of her defense, so I got whatever defense I could get from the gear. Made sure that there was a little bit more HP from the 19 that she already comes with, but I did give her some attack, almost at 11.5, with some critical damage, a little bit of rage regeneration. But really, you want to use this at opportune times to try to boost your damage up. In terms of the ring and the bangle and the amulet, I would look for attack percentage on the top, and then critical damage in one of the pieces. Look for attacks speed, attack bonus, regeneration, critical rate, critical damage, all the standard type of subset that you want from in your fighter. If you can get a good fatality, a calamity set, excuse me, on Volka, I'll definitely pursue that. That is something that I will pursue here in the future. I just wanted to do a quick test to see how things panned out, but I was looking for crit rate, attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage, and attack speed if at all possible. But I kind of give her a gear that I think everybody has access to at this point of the game, which is, mid-game especially if you're pushing into the middle teen stages of gear rate 2, or even trying in terms of completing your mission, you're already getting into the stage 13, 14 of artifact rate. So in this first clip that I want to share with you has to do with the guild boss. So here I'm in Nightmare 2, and one of the things that I decided to do was bring in a set of champions that dealt magic or piercing damage, to try to compare their damage with or without her in the composition. So quickly here, the ones that I'm selecting are going to be Nocturne and Corel, Salazar, Silatu. I have Nasande here as my healer, and I also bring in Silas because he does magic damage. So I just kind of let it do a quick run, and I was actually waiting for the shield to go down at least 2 times, and I'm playing here this at 2x. And if I just speed up a little bit, we're getting here to the end for this first run, and I am trying to break. Let's see if it does. Okay, so here's the destructive spit. I'm trying to do all the ultimates at that time, trying to break the shield. So here what I'm going to wait for is for the timing of Silatu's ultimate go down to the end. So here I reset the battle and I go back, and I just kind of get a general idea as to how much damage each one of these characters did during the run. So here's Silatu did about 3.2, Salsa did about 2.3 million damage. We have Nocturne with 2.2 and Silence with 2.2 as well. We scroll down a little bit, and I think I have Terrell here at 865,000. The other thing that I do want you to notice though too, before I go on to do the next set of runs here, is if you can see this here, there are where it says healing, there is 0 for most of them. So let me go ahead and get to the stage where we are now resetting the battle. And so here I am trying to put everybody in the same tiles that I had them before. So I did multiple runs. I'm trying to see who I could bring in to try to test this out a little bit more. And one of the things that I purposely did here is, as you can see, I placed Volka all the way to the right here, outside the healing range of Nasande. And the purpose for this is because I want you to notice how she's self-healing from her passive. And she is actually doing a lot. She's sustaining the fight, even without the healer helping her out. You can also see all the allies here, all these green numbers popping up. That's from them doing their basic attack, and they're getting healed. So if you compare this run to the previous one that I just showed you, the health bar, it looks less dangerous in this run. So she's definitely providing this. So now I'm waiting here for the destructive spit to come about, because what I'm going to try to do is do her ultimate so she puts out the damage, the vulnerability. And now I'm doing everybody's ultimates like I did in the previous run. Okay, so here we are almost at the end, and we're looking for Silatu's ultimate to be exhausted, and then I'm going to pause the battle, and then I'm going to do a quick assessment of their damage. So then you can kind of see here from what we saw on the previous battle is Silatu definitely did a lot more damage with 4.4 million. We have Nocturne at 2.6, so there was a slight increase in his damage output. So did Salazar, so did Silas, and a little bit of damage coming in from Volka. So She is certainly not going to give you the burst of damage that you're going to be looking from a hero, but definitely her passive and her ultimate will allow you to get the rest of your allies to get additional damage to whatever enemy you're combating. And as you can see all the way on the right hand side of the screen, now we have healing coming from all of the allies. That is primarily from them using their basic attack and healing from her passive. So definitely this is one area of the game where I think that she could help you progress, especially if you're having problems sustaining a long battle in Nightmare 2, 3, or even 4. So here's another area of the game where I think Volka excels, so I'm bringing her in Gear Raid 2. I'm going to stage 14 just to try things out first. So I'm going to bring in my healers, my tanks, my couple of fighters, just to give you an example of how the fighters in Volka do in this setup. So initially I'm just setting up my tanks here, placing regulars down with Sadie, and I'm gonna put in the Sandy here, and they're gonna hold down the waves, so at least they're gonna start holding down the waves. So I'm just fast forwarding a little bit. Here's Volka set up on the left hand side, aiming towards the ads when Regulus stops them. Now you can see the boss did his slam. They're doing a great job surviving it. Now here comes the second wave. I'm setting up here Baron. This is my other tank, and I'm also going to set up my other melee or fighter unit here in Silitu just to do damage, bring down this ads. But I'm also bringing her because she does not have the high defense that Volka does, and you'll see why Volka is so good in this dungeon. Here comes the boss again doing his slams. Silitu is down. Silitu is down. She does not have the greatest of EHP, but you see Volka on the left hand side still standing. She's not gonna get healed. As soon as she starts doing her basic attacks on these waves here, she'll start gaining HP from it, and then you'll see they'll be pretty much topped off before the boss does his next slam. So here I'm bringing another fighter in. This is Wrath. Wrath is going to do his damage that he needs to do. There comes the slams, and he's down. Volka is still standing. Here is Nocturne. Nocturne's still making it. So I did give him a little bit of HP for this dungeon. So now here comes the boss. He's going to come down, try to get to the crystal. And here's when I use Volka's ultimate. So as you can see here on the top, the 2 debuffs have been applied. The vulnerability for the magic and the piercing damage. The one that I'm more interested in is the magic one, since Nocturne is based on magic damage. And so while the boss is doing his slams here, everybody, tanks and the healers, are able to take it. Volka is able to take it very well, so and she's helping bring on the box a little bit, but the majority of damage that is coming here in the end is from Nocturne and his ultimate, and the fact that the vulnerability to the magic debuff was applied. So there, I think that in the stage where we can acquire Volka, which is really early game, I mean, you can stage 14, 15 here in this example, she can definitely help you progress in these dungeons, get you into the stages, 16, 17, where you start collecting ancient mythic gear. She can certainly help you advance and get through there while you're still trying to develop all your healers, bringing them to 60 with your defenders. She definitely should help you progress in that area. And I honestly do give her an A in this dungeon, S to A, in terms of what she's capable of doing here. All right, next up is Artifact Material Raid. So let me see what I did here and start the fight. Okay, so essentially what happened here in this setup was you bring in your tank to slow down Salazar. Eventually I will build up my Wrath to be able to take the pounding that he needs to take to control Salazar. Once all the timings were down, like you can see, I placed Volka here on this side. I did not build her for damage, so she was not going to be my main damage dealer. It was going to be Salazar and Silitu. she does a great job on holding out the adds while you get your fighters to do the damage that you need to bring down Salazar. So if you are going to use her in artifact raids, I would suggest that you think about using her for that purpose, not necessarily to give you extra damage to bring down Salazar. And I think in this next setup here, I did try to turn off the power of dominance, but I don't think that made a difference. She was still able to control the waves, so you could do damage as much as you could while she was holding the adds off. Now, if you can set up the trick where you can trap Salazar in between tiles, if you want to bring her in to try to give you a little bit of a boost on damage, you can do that. Definitely doesn't hurt you, and she can try to hold off the adds here. But remember, you don't want the adds really getting too close to Salazar, otherwise he will consume it and he will get use them to their advantage. So if there's another area of the game where you're looking to progress and use her, this would be it. So overall, my impressions of Volka is that she is a very good hero, and she has very unique utilities coming from her kit, in that not only is she giving you the opportunity to make your damage dealers, both magic and piercing, a little bit more robust in terms of their damage. She's also giving you like a lifesteal set in terms of her passive to try to get you to recover as much HP as you can while you're using your basic attack. And not only that, I think that she can help you progress in dungeons where you need survivability, and she certainly can do some damage, but she is not a damage dealer, a true damage dealer in the game. So I wouldn't be disappointed in building her. I certainly am not. I'm looking forward to awaken her, at least in the first step, so I can use that increased revival time to my advantage in certain situations, especially when it comes to Gear Raid 2 and Artifact Raid. And I will certainly be using her in the guild boss wherever the opportunity affords itself, based on the composition that I'm using, which is, when it comes to the nightmare, it's most likely that I will be using some nightmare champions or nightmare heroes in the guild boss. I would put her in the A scale. She's certainly not going to be an S tier champion, so don't expect her to completely change your account when you acquire her. Given how early we get her in the game, I expected her to be a progression hero, and that's what she is, to be honest. So don't expect that this is gonna be like Vierna. Vierna is a powerful mage. She changes any account in the early game when you acquire her. So that is not the purpose of Volka. Volka is here to help you progress through the game, and in the end game you might not use her as much, but at least you had the opportunity to get her to help you in the mid game. With that, if you found this video helpful, I would ask you to please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on another Watcher of Realms presentation.